Basketball fans, what is up? I am Caleb Champion, and we are here. The NBA playoffs start tomorrow. I am so excited and ready for the NBA playoffs. It's going to be very interesting. Let's break down all the matchups and all the seedings and who's going to win, how many games it's going to go. First of all, the Western Conference seeding, we got the Warriors number 1, the Spurs number 2, Houston Rockets number 3, Los Angeles Clippers number 4, the Utah Jazz, number 5. Number 6 is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 7 is the Memphis Grizzlies. Number 8 is the Portland Trailblazers. Now let's go to the Eastern Conference. We got number 1, the Boston Celtics. Number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 3, Toronto Raptors. Number 4, the Washington Wizards. Number 5, the Atlanta Hawks. Number 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 7, the Indiana Pacers. And number 8, the Chicago Bulls. Now, before we get into the matchups and who's going to win, let me tell you the 5 players with the most pressure or most to prove going into this NBA playoffs. And number 1, none other than Stephen Curry, point guard of the Golden State Warriors, back-to-back MVP, who hasn't been showing up in the playoffs. And in particular, hasn't been showing up against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. But before we even get to the NBA Finals, when you look at the Oklahoma City series, you look at some of these other series late, teams are just allowed to be more physical in the playoffs, and it's been hurting Stephen Curry. And even in that OKC series, he was pretty much carried by Klay Thompson in that series. Warriors are down 3-1. He played decently well. But when you look at the NBA Finals, obviously he did not play well either in 2015 or in 2016. In 2015, Andre Iguodala took home Finals MVP in that series. So Curry has yet to have a very good Finals and very good playoffs in general. He's had some couple good games, including a memorable game where he was injured against the Portland Trailblazers. A lot of people say maybe he was injured the last playoffs. I think he definitely was. That was part of it. But still, he hasn't really shown up in the playoffs, and he will really need to make a statement this year. I think he will make a statement, but he definitely has a lot of pressure on him to do that. Secondly, I'm going to go with a duo for this one, CP3 and Blake Griffin of the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, the Clippers have not been to a conference finals in the CP3 Blake Griffin era, which is very sad. Chris Paul is a great point guard, one of the greatest ever to play the game of basketball in terms of the point guards, obviously. But this team really is probably the best team, in my opinion, of this era. The bench is very deep in terms of the Clippers era, not in the league, okay? Don't be saying all that stuff that I'm hyping up the Clippers too much. But this bench is probably the best bench they've had in the Doc Rivers era. And the unfortunate part about this is that they're the 4 seed, which means they're going to be matched up with the Golden State Warriors in the second round. So it looks very unlikely that they will make it to the conference finals, which a lot of people may consider a failure. But if they lose in the first round to this Utah Jazz team, no offense to the Utah Jazz, they're a very talented squad. Quinn Snyder has them playing great basketball. Rudy Gobert, Gordon Hayward, playing some great basketball. But they're going to get a lot of hate if they lose this first round series. And the team's on the line. A lot of players are free agents from this squad, including CP3 and Blake. So there's a lot of pressure for them to get it done this year in LA. Number 3, LeBron James. This man is chasing the ghost in Chicago. He's chasing Michael Jordan. There's pressure on this man every single year. And this year especially, a lot of scrutiny about him resting during the regular season, not really caring about the regular season, putting all this emphasis on the playoffs. So he's going to be trusted and expected to deliver. Also, the defense, this Cavaliers team has not been playing good defense as of late. They've been struggling as of late. There's going to be a lot of pressure on LeBron to get to the NBA Finals and to back up what he's been saying. And I think he will do that, but a lot of pressure still on the King, as there is each and every year. Everyone loves to count him out, but LeBron loves adversity. He's going to come through. He's going to be clutch when it comes down to it. Isaiah Thomas is a player I think has the 4th most amount of pressure. He is the best player, the star point guard of the Boston Celtics, who are the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And there's going to be pressure for him to win a playoff series. The Boston Celtics haven't won a playoff series in their past 2 attempts or tries at the playoffs. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for IT to get it done this year, at least past the first round. They're expected to go at least to the conference finals, actually. They're expected to win the second round as well. And maybe they could even get into the NBA Finals. Who knows? Number 5, I'm going to go Kevin Durant. He left OKC. He went to Golden State. Yes, I know he's on a team with 3 other All-Stars, but Kevin Durant individually is going to have to prove his worth. This Golden State Warriors team was a 3-1 choke away from winning the NBA Finals. So this team definitely has the chance and definitely has the talent to win the finals. The question is KD going to add enough individually? Is he going to prove his worth on this squad and prove that the Warriors need Kevin Durant to win? That's going to be the question. And can this group, Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant both struggle against LeBron James. LeBron has their number. But can they combine to beat LeBron and the Cavs or whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference? Can they combine and win an NBA championship? So those are the players that I think have pressure to win it this year, or at least do well in this year's NBA playoffs. So now let's get into the seeds. The 1 seed, the Golden State Warriors, takes on the 8 seed, the Portland Trailblazers. And I'm going with the Warriors in 5 games. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are a nasty backcourt. Yusuf Nurkic is a nice big. He's been playing well ever since the trade to bring him over to Portland from the Denver Nuggets. Their bench is all right. I just don't think top to bottom they have a good enough roster to compete really with the Golden State Warriors for a long series. They're definitely a little bit worse than last season, and the Warriors are better adding Kevin Durant, in my opinion. So the Warriors are going to take this one in 5 games. I think Curry and Dame Dollar will go at it for sure, and Clay and CJ likewise. We'll see how Kevin Durant is. He's probably going to be a little limited, not 100% in this first round series. It's just going to be important for KD to get his rhythm back in this series. 4 versus 5 matchup, we got the Clippers and the Jazz. And the Clippers have owned the Jazz in the regular season so far. And I expect that to continue when we come to the playoffs. I think the big 3 of DeAndre, CP3, Blake Griffin, the loaded bench. I expect the Clippers to take this one in 6 games. I think it's going to be a good series. Gordon Hayward, Rudy Gobert. It's going to be interesting to see the Gobert, DeAndre Jordan matchup. But I think the Jazz can win a game or 2. But I say Clippers in 6. Then we'll go to the other side of the bracket. Spurs taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. And a big injury for Memphis. They lost Tony Allen for this playoff series with a bad injury in the last game of the regular season. They were one of the few teams that should have actually rested their players. But I think the Spurs are going to sweep these guys. Kawhi Leonard, Greg Popovich. They swept them last year in the same 2 versus 7 matchup. I think they will do the same this year. The best series, in my opinion, of the first round, we got the 3-seeded Houston Rockets, the 6-seed Oklahoma City Thunder, 2 potential MVP candidates in James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I think this series will go 7 games, but I think Houston just is too much for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've got several snipers on this team. They got Eric Gordon. They got Lou Williams, who they got at the trade deadline. They got Ryan Anderson. James Harden playing great basketball under head coach Mike D'Antoni, moving over to the point guard position. The Thunder, they're going to try to slow you down, and Westbrook's going to try to do it all pretty much for this squad. They've got Cantor. They've got Steven Adams, Victor Oladipo. You need him to have a big series. But yeah, I'm just going with the deeper team. They're just going to shoot the lights out. Every game's going to be pretty close. I feel like Westbrook's going to have some really great games. He's also going to have some games where he struggles mightily. James Harden's going to be more consistent. The Rockets are going to win. So that's the first round in the Western Conference. Second round, Warriors taking on the 4-seeded Los Angeles Clippers. And the Clippers Warriors are not really a good matchup anymore. They used to be a rivalry, but lately the Warriors have had their number. This year, I think things might get a little bit more interesting. I'm going to take the Warriors in 6. I think they can get 2 games, the Los Angeles Clippers, that is. But I do think the Warriors will end up taking it 4 games to 2. Other side of the bracket, Spurs and the Houston Rockets. I'm actually predicting another tough series. I think this will probably go 6. I think Houston is better than the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're a better in terms of the head-to-head matchup. The Spurs don't like to shoot threes, and the Rockets shoot more than anyone in NBA history. 3 is greater than 2. That's not the only reason. I think the backcourt is aging. You got Tony Parker, Danny Green, Patty Mills. They're just not going to be able to stay with Pat Bev and James Harden. I'm taking the Rockets to advance to the conference finals. That may be very surprising for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Now we go to the Western Conference Finals. The Golden State Warriors, the one taking on the 3-seeded Rockets. And I'm going with the Warriors yet again in 6 games. I think KD will finally get as close to 100% as he can. I don't know if he's ever going to reach the full 100%, but he's going to be in pretty good form at this point. Actually, I don't know, 4 or 5 games. I'll still go 4 games to 2, but I think it could be faster than that. Golden State's advancing to the NBA Finals. They're coming out of the Western Conference. Now we shift to the East. The 1 seed, the Boston Celtics, and the 8 seed, the Chicago Bulls. A lot of people saying the Celtics are one of the weakest 1 seeds ever. I mean, I don't know about that. They're still a talented team. Yeah, they're led by a 5'9" point guard, but this 5'9" point guard gets a lot of hate, but he's a very talented guard. He's a great scorer. They've got some good defenders. Brad Stevens does a great job as a head coach. A lot of people see Chicago as a potential upset team. Jimmy Butler's been playing well. They got D-Wade back. Rondo's been playing a little bit better. I think the series will go 6 games, but I still think Boston will, in the end, come out with the victory. They'll advance to the second round. Then the 4-seeded Washington Wizards taking on the 5-seeded Atlanta Hawks. This could be an interesting series in terms of like them being close, but in terms of watching, I don't really know. Wizards are a good team this year. Hawks are pretty good, but there's not a lot of star power in this series. You got John Wall and Bradley Beal. You got Paul Millsap. Dwight Howard's all right. Schroeder's all right, but not too much star power in terms of compared to the other series. I think it will go 6 as well, but I'm going to take Washington. I just think the backcourt is going to be a little bit too much for the Hawks backcourt. The Hawks will have them down low. The advantage with Howard and Millsap up front, that might kind of counteract it, but I like guards more than bigs, especially in the modern NBA. I'm going to go with the Wizards. 2-seeded Cavs and the 7-seeded Indiana Pacers. And I think this series goes 6 games too. And I think the Cavs might struggle a little bit in this first round matchup. LeBron going up against his old boy Lance Stevenson. They had some great matchups back in the day. Paul George is also looking nasty. He's ready for the playoffs. He's looking very good right now. They got some other role players. They got Miles Turner. They got Monte Ellis. This Pacers team is nothing to slouch about. They're a solid 7 seed. I think a lot better than the 7 seed out west with the Grizzlies. So this goes 6. I still think the Cavs end up pulling through and winning it with LeBron locked in playoff mode. This will be interesting to see if they can play good defense in this series and kind of rewrite the ship, start a new trend for the playoffs. The Cavs do the best under adversity, and a lot of people are counting them out. I am not. Stay tuned. 3-seeded Raptors taking on the 6-seed Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo in the playoffs, but I still think Toronto gets this one pretty easily. I'm going to go 4 games to 1. I think Giannis can spot them a game, but missing Jabari Parker is going to be really huge for this series. I think Toronto's gotten a lot better with the additions of PJ Tucker and Serge Ibaka. This series is going to be pretty quick. The Raptors take it in 5. Second round, Celtics and the Wizards. This has been a rivalry in the Eastern Conference. I think this series will go 7 games, and I'm going to give the slight edge to the Boston Celtics. It's going to be a tough series, but I just think Boston is slightly better than Washington, and they're going to get it in 7 games. I think, actually, the Celtics are a good amount better than Washington top to bottom. I just think the matchup with them, the physicality that Washington plays, the fact that John Wall always shows up to play when going up against Isaiah Thomas, that this matchup works well for Washington, and that's why they'll push it to 7. Although the Wizards, they still have yet to prove what they can do in the postseason, so it's going to be interesting. And then the other side, the 2-seeded Cavs, the 3-seeded Toronto Raptors, and this one also, in my opinion, will go 7 games. I think we're going to see some good series in the second round out of the Eastern Conference and the West for that matter. But the Cavs and the Raptors in 7, I think they're going to have a little bit of defensive problems. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, they're all geared up and ready for the playoffs. I'm going to take Cleveland in 7, but it's going to be a tough series. Then we got Boston, the 1 seed, and the Cavs, the 2 seed. I actually think Toronto's a better matchup against the Cavaliers than the Cavs and the Celtics. I think the Cavs will have an easier time against the Celtics. I'll say, I want to say 5 or 6. I'll probably go 6 games against the Boston Celtics, and the Cavs will advance to the NBA Finals. I just think they're going to figure out defensively. I think Kyrie Irving will have a good series. I think K-Love has been playing some good basketball. And I think LeBron will have this group playing better defense. They've got a lot of depth this year. Darren Williams has gained some confidence at the end of the season. Channing Frye also had to step in, play a few games in the starting lineup. I think their depth is better than they were last year. After LeBron pushing for a playmaker during the regular season. So now we got the finals. Now we got the trilogy. We got the Cavs and the Warriors part 3. And hopefully everyone's healthy. Hopefully there's no excuses going into this series. I expect Stephen Curry to be playing on his A game. I expect him to really be looking for revenge after last year. All the 3-1 choking. But the thing is, the Golden State Warriors, although they're super talented, although they got Klay, they got Draymond, they're a deep team. JaVale McGee has been playing extremely well this year, rim protecting, catching lobs. Patrick McCaw's had a pretty nice rookie campaign. They've got some guys. This bench isn't weak. I know they lost a good amount to get KD with Harrison Barnes and Bogut, the rim protector. JaVale's sort of been that rim protector. I'm not going to compare him directly to Bogut, but he's a lot more athletic than Andrew Bogut. Not as much of a passer, but I still think this Warriors team is better than they were last year. But also Cleveland's better than last year. Darren Williams to help out that bench. Channing Frye, Amon Shumpert's played some good minutes. Then you're bringing back JR. Kevin Love, I expect him to be better than he was last year in the finals. And you got the King playing his best basketball since he came to Cleveland. I am going to take the GOAT, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA, going up against 2 players that he has their number. He pretty much owns Curry and Durant when it comes to head-to-head matchups. I think this is going to be another classic 7-game series, and I think the Cavs yet again are going to go into Golden State, win Game 7, 4-3, LeBron back-to-back champs, and a lot more people will remember and universally call LeBron James the GOAT after he wins the 4th, after he beats 4 All-Stars as the 2 seed of the Eastern Conference. I'm taking LeBron and the Cavs. Comment down below who you guys got in the playoffs. I'm Caleb Champion, signing off. Peace.